What's up, everybody? How are we doing tonight? Welcome back to another weekly live stream here on Celtics Digest. We're going to be talking about a lot about this Boston Celtics team, as there are multiple updates and multiple things to break down, as just in the matter of days, the Celtics went from potentially coming back, and still willingly can come back in this series, but with a long shot, and now, obviously, with no Jayson Tatum. So we got a lot to break down talking about Jayson Tatum, because Patrick and I haven't been able to discuss it together since the news has been broken out, unfortunately. We're also going to be talking about the Celtics game plan for tonight and addressing some big things going into this game versus the New York Knicks, which is a must-win at TD Garden, which I don't know how Patrick feels, but I feel really good about tonight's game going into it. I feel the Garden's going to be electric, and we can dive into that when we get into that part, and we can talk about some future of this Celtics squad as well. So what's up, everybody? We got T Snizzle and my boy Crampy in here. What's up, boys? And Patrick, how are you doing, man?
Dead inside still? I mean, is that allowed to say still?
Yeah, no, you can definitely still say that.
I'm going to be brutally honest. Still feel awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just because my feed is constant with all this Tatum news and all these mixtapes, all these TikTok creators that are just forcing my hand and watching these Tatum things, trying to make me cry. But Game 5, TD Garden tonight. I mean, there's a lot that have been said that we're going to get into, but I'm going to try and light a fire under us watching the stream right now, and I'm going to get ourselves back into it, and we're going to win tonight.
I'm glad that you are all in that boat like me, right? I got my hat on like I showed you before. I got my Banner 18 jersey from Pete Rogers.
I'll save mine for Game 6. How about that?
Sounds good. I'm on the train, and we're going to be getting into it. So, Patrick, let's dive into it, and let's discuss some things revolving around this stuff, right? Obviously, we have to talk about some big things on the Twitter sphere that have been happening, because that has been a big discussion revolving around this Celtics team, correct? And that's something that we definitely have to dive into. So let's get into that here as I pull it up for all of us here on this stream. I had it pulled up, and I don't know where it went, but it disappeared. Awesome.
Nice.
Yes. Awesome. Right.
You know what? Looking forward to tonight's game as you figure this out, Bruce. I mean, there's a lot of things to look forward for this Boston Celtics team, and I think one of them is definitely what lineup we see working tonight for the Celtics. I think there's been a lot of things going on with Cornette and kind of like a back and forth with Peyton Pritchard a little bit, but you know, I think Sam Hauser coming back maybe to light a little fire, but I've been waiting for some Baylor Shireman, man. I'm waiting for Baylor Shireman to kind of get into some of these games, light a fire under the Celtics team, and really be one of those guys that really pushes them forward. And I think we're a couple games too late for that. I kind of wanted that around Game 3, kind of waiting for something like that. But, I mean, you got a rookie who's kind of getting all over the floor. He makes some big shots. We know that he could score at all three levels. And I think that when you need somebody to light a fire under you, it's a guy like that. And I think that bringing him into the lineup tonight would be huge for the Celtics.
I think so, too. I think we're going to see a lot of changes within this Celtics team. I think I just did it. Boom. There we go. Now it's here. So now we can discuss and get into some stuff as I make this a little bit bigger for all of us here and stuff like that. You're talking about some different changes, right? And I think that's kind of the main imprint with this Celtics team, right, Patrick? Now that I'm kind of back onto the level here of discussing the team after figuring all of this out. But we're going to have to see someone fill in for Jayson Tatum, correct, right? Like Jaylen Brown obviously going to have to step up, Derrick White, all those other names, but this is the time where we're going to have to see some of those bench guys really come out for the Celtics team, right? You take away Jayson Tatum from this rotation, you cannot just have it just filled out with just extra Peyton Pritchard minutes, extra Jaylen Brown minutes. We're going to need someone else. And I think, like you mentioned, Sam Hauser's coming back from this injury tonight. He is good to go for the Boston Celtics, and I think that's something that's going to be huge. They definitely could benefit off of his three, specifically how the Celtics have been streaky in this series from three-point range. Coming back home, definitely valuable, and having that would be key. I mentioned Baylor Scheierman. I think he could get some run depending on how that looks, and maybe even Torrey Craig could get some run as well. But like we said, Sam Hauser is available for the Celtics team. Absolutely fantastic. This is the first game since game 1 that he is back, correct? He got injured in game 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Came in 4 minutes, got hurt, and that was it.
And that's
but I'm really curious to see. I don't think the lineup came out yet. I'm wondering if KP kind of gets his way back into the lineup and they run that lineup, that 6 starting lineup kind of thing.
Yes.
And kind of run Jaylen Brown down a little bit. But I don't know, man. I think there's a couple options that they can go. I don't think they'll go the Sam Hauser route. I think that would be pretty astonishing, in my opinion, because he's coming off of injury. I don't really expect that. But Joe kind of surprises us a ton. I think you'd be curious to go and see with Al and KP in the starting lineup. The offensive rebound has been atrocious, so maybe kind of getting that 2 big lineup in early could be a different look. But, I mean, why not throw in a Baylor Scheierman? Well, I mean, I don't know what's kind of holding them back. You're down up against the wall. You're on your home court. You got to switch something up. And what do you think is going to light more of a fire under you than bringing in a certain lineup? And I think that he could be that piece.
No, I completely agree. I think for the Celtics team specifically, right? Like, you dive into this, you explore everything revolving around this Celtics team. The double big lineup is going to be needed. And I think we could even see it with KP, potentially even Luke Kornet as well. You mentioned the offensive rebounding was atrocious in that last game, and they definitely need to step that up. Baylor Scheierman, the only restraint that I can really see the Celtics having is maybe they think that as a rookie, he's not as confident or doesn't have the experience to really get in there to make those shots, but we've seen him do it throughout the regular season in tough situations where he has been able to deliver and kind of shock the Boston Celtics fans out there. So I agree with you, Patrick. If your back's against the wall and you need someone to make a basket, might as well let everyone try to get there, get an opportunity to get going.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that with the Warriors too. Since Steph was out, they ran 13 guys that game. I think, and that was only the first half. And he was just trying to get a bunch of looks just to see what lineups would work best with each other. But I think this is a time where you kind of go into that bench depth, especially with your bigs, kind of figure out who's going to be the one to battle with the boards with Mitch, because me and my friends were talking about it. Where's Nemi? Maybe bring in Nemi for a couple minutes, kind of battle down low on the boards, just kind of get a big body down there and just tell him your assignment is to box out Mitch and grab every single defensive rebound as possible. I don't want you to leave that low block. You're not even going to set a screen. You're going to stay down there all day, box him out, and get every rebound so they don't have any second chance opportunities.
No, I agree. And I feel like Joe might have to, like you said, like what they did without Steph Curry, kind of go deep into this rotation and kind of figure out who's going to step up and who's going to really bring it out for Game 5. Because, like you mentioned, the backs are on the wall, down 3-1. Obviously, the somber message of Jayson Tatum going down isn't great as well for this Celtics team, but they want to overcome this, right? And we feel confident that they can overcome this game, win with that home crowd, and really be able to deliver. And hopefully some of those guys in that rotation, like you just mentioned, could be that spark plug. Patrick, we look at some Jayson Tatum stuff as well here, right, that I have pulled up. This was Jayson Tatum in the hospital bed after the surgery. I feel like when you see this, it really hits home, right? And we talked about feeling somber for Jayson Tatum. This is just a tough image to see posted by his Instagram, but he's thankful for all his love and support, and I think he is going to be able to really be able to bounce back with that. We also saw here, right, from Mark Spears, which you brought up earlier before we got into the stream, that Jayson Tatum said to him, to his dad, like, why me? Why does it have to be me that has to get this terrible injury? And obviously everyone feels bad, not even just Celtics fans ourselves, but you see from other fan bases, the Knicks, the Lakers, even our biggest rivals, they don't want to see the Celtics go down like this, specifically with such a talented player in Jayson Tatum. But some good news is that he expects him only to be out 8 to 9 months. And we know that this timetable of return, right, is around 6 to 12, which is a big variance, right? But if 8 to 9 months is approximate, that would be around the All-Star break where Jayson Tatum would come back, right? So where all these Celtics fans are thinking that hey, maybe we need to drop below and sell the team and trade all these players and do all that. I don't think that really resonates now. Obviously, this is a very speedy recovery, but even if that is delayed just a little bit longer, Tatum could return by the end of next season and be even ready to go for the playoffs if that's the case.
You're going into my delusion here, Bruce. I'm getting delusional.
Just saying. I'm just saying. This is obviously not like, you know what I mean? Not set in stone that this is going to be happening, correct? But when you realistically think about it, right? Like, the Celtics could maybe move, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but some of those fringe guys on the edges, right? Still keep that Jaylen Brown, still keep that Derrick White, and still have a competitive team even when Jayson Tatum comes back to maybe even shock some people, right? With Jayson Tatum now, we don't know how good Jayson Tatum is going to be off this Achilles injury, but we're all hoping the best that he turns to that superstar, maybe even if it's not right away. But I still think he would be able to produce some great quality basketball for the Boston Celtics because they would make sure that he got enough rest to be ready to go 100%.
Yeah, and the one thing about this injury that really makes it bigger is getting past the mental part and just kind of getting past the point of you can still jump, you could do these things. Don't be afraid to get to the basket and be aggressive, which is something we've told Tatum to do for a very long time. Kind of go up and be, and kind of getting past that mental block is going to be very hard, and that's the process of this. But I think someone like his father as well, being a basketball coach over in Australia, just knowing his stuff, and I think he's around the right people to really get him mentally right. He has a good relationship with his medical staff. He's always has, I don't know his name, but he's always on his Snapchat. He's always chilling with him. Someone in the comments, maybe if you know Bruce, just has this one medical guy that's just always with him at all times. They're boys, and I think that having people like that around you is just a great thing to have for your mental, and I think that he'll really push as hard as he can to get back on the court, but at the same time, the Celtics aren't going to force him back if he's not 100%.
And that's what I completely agree with. And they've done that too, right? They've done that with Porziņģis. They've done that with Jaylen Brown. They've done that with Jrue Holiday, even giving them maybe even extended periods of time, you could even say, dating back to last year, where it's like, is he going to come back? But they're just taking extra precautions just to make sure. And I'm sure that they'd 100% do that with Jayson Tatum as well, like you said, Patrick. But we see some other updates revolving around Jayson Tatum. You sent this to me, right, before we even went live when you were driving home from Jack Simone. He answered Bobby Manning's question from Joe Mazzulla on Jayson Tatum. He said, if there's anybody that can do it, it's him. He sent a message to the staff and the players today. Now, we didn't really get much detail on what was said from Jayson Tatum, obviously, to the staff and players, which cryptic Celtics as usual, you know what I mean? But Joe Mazzulla, hearing from Jayson Tatum, hearing these words, Wick Grusbeck also said the same thing on the video that I did today, saying that Jayson Tatum's a warrior, and if there's anyone that's going to overcome anything, it's going to be him. So they have the trust in him. We obviously have the trust in Jayson Tatum. And some other good news that I saw as well from Noah Dalzell, which I did not repost, so I want to go find this right here for all of you guys. They have the Do It For J t-shirts selling outside TD Garden tonight, which is looking clean. But where is it? She had a tweet about, yes, here it is. So the guy that did Jayson Tatum's Achilles tear surgery also was performed on Derrick White's left foot surgery back in 2020. And he also was the guy that performed the KD Achilles tear injury as well. So this guy is a very trusted doctor, is someone that is, well respected and, has good success with his injury recoveries. And I think that makes a lot of Celtics fans and should make the fans in the comment section and even us feel a little bit more cozier with this kind of news.
Yeah, I mean, I think also just how quick the surgery became a thing was unbelievable. I really just don't even know who has gotten a surgery like that in that quick of amount of time. It's actually unbelievable. I really can't even think of one. Usually you wait a couple weeks, but they were in the right situation, right place, right time to kind of get that done. I mean, New York, some of the best doctors out there. Everyone's always coming here for surgery, but yeah, I mean, it's still such a weird conversation to have, Bruce, because I still am delusional enough to think that he's going to walk out on the court tonight.
No, I completely believe you. It doesn't feel real yet. You know what I mean? Just because, and I said this about the Luka trade as well when he got traded to the Lakers. Until I see it, you know what I mean? Until I see him sitting on the bench or like I said, saw him sitting in the hospital bed, that's when it really hit home for me and to be like, damn, this is the position that we're in. this is actually real life. Now we have to kind of just suck it up, take the punches, and just roll with it. And I think the Celtics are going to be in for that uphill battle tonight. Patrick, as we dive in and get into a little bit of the preview here for the game, sticking away from Jayson Tatum, rest easy, Jayson Tatum. We wish you nothing but the best of luck in your recovery, and hopefully we can see that speedy recovery to that 8th or 9th month mark, Patrick, so we could see him back next year for this Celtics team. But diving in to the Celtics here, talking about the New York Knicks, I'll give it to you, Patrick, first. Obviously, 3-1. You are around Knicks fans, living down in New York, right? So you're getting the brutal backlash back and forth. What is the main thing that you really want to see from the Celtics? And then the second thing I'm going to ask you is, what key change would you like to see from the Celtics?
Yeah, I think the main thing, first of all, is getting off to a hot start.
Yes.
I said that to you. I think getting off to a hot start just for like the crowd in general, to kind of get everyone back and believing in this team and kind of getting into the game is a huge thing. But realistically, getting off to a hot start in this series hasn't meant much because they haven't been able to hold a lead for the life of them. So I think that point also has a change, is just being able to hold the lead and to be able to lock in for 48 straight minutes. This team isn't going to let up. They know it's going to be a hard game, especially for the Celtics. Maybe the Knicks are thinking that they could walk away with this one with no JT and they're kind of just down in the dumps like the rest of us, but they're not. They're going to be playing for him, and hopefully they come out strong. But I think a main point, like I touched on earlier, offensive rebounding. To keep the Knicks away from second chance shots, because Mitchell Robinson is only on the court to get offensive rebounds, and I mean, they're going to play their game, but those offensive rebounds are just killing the Celtics, and then especially down the stretch, the Knicks have been extremely clutch, but being able to get an answer back, kind of getting to the hoop, getting good buckets like they started last game, playing a whole game like that, they're going to be very hard to beat. So I think just being able to put your head down, get downhill, and just get to the basket and just play some hard-nosed basketball and just know what you're playing for.
No, I agree. I think the main thing for me and my main takeaway for this game, Patrick, is just, like you said, one, get off to a hard start, but you got to stay aggressive and be resilient versus this New York Knicks team, because we have seen, right, that regardless of how dominant of the Celtics start is, they're going to come out and they're going to win that fourth quarter. They've won every fourth quarter of this entire series, outscoring the Celtics, coming back, clawing back. They have those clutch players. It feels like Mikal Bridges can go silent for the whole entire game and then magically just appear out of nowhere for this New York Knicks team in the fourth quarter, just give them a win. And it's sickening, right? But you have to stick with that, right? No matter the punches that they throw with you, you have to be resilient and you have to be effective. We saw them kind of collapse a little bit in Game 4 defensively, right? We saw Jaylen Brown get into some foul trouble. They had to run the double big. It was a little hard for a guy like Kristaps Porziņģis to stay on that Mikal Bridges or Josh Hart in the mid-range, right? They were hunting those mismatches on the Celtics. The Celtics need to use and abuse that tonight, correct? We know that this Celtics team can win without Jayson Tatum. They're 8-2 in the regular season. They're 1-0 in the playoffs, and the only playoff game that he's ever missed, they have won without him. And yes, it's the New York Knicks. They are a little bit of a better team than the Orlando Magic, but I think that this team should not be counted out. You have Peyton Pritchard, who can go off fantastically for you offensively, and that's what I want to see. And a little bit of a change that I want to see is, I think, the double big. I think we talked about that a little bit earlier, but just kind of resonating with that and trying to match that size versus the New York Knicks to kind of shut down Karl-Anthony Towns, but not only that, to help out the rebounding, specifically with Tatum being out, because Tatum's one of your best rebounders, and now you have to lose all of that momentum as well.
Yeah, and I think one thing too, hopefully with Porziņģis, with his, that whole illness that he's got going on, kind of changing the way that he plays too. I mean, he's kind of running all over the place, and that's why I do like the double big as well. Kind of keep him off of the screen and roll so that he's not kind of coming up. Kind of keep him in one spot so that he's kind of conserving energy, so that he's able to do a lot more on the offensive end and the defensive end. Even if it goes up for a screen and the Knicks are looking for a switch, kind of just sag off a little bit, kind of force them to make some shots, because clearly the person that he's guarding on defense isn't going to be shooting a lot of threes. And, I mean, if we lose by the 3, it is what it is. But, I mean, they're not layups at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And kind of help protect the paint and any type of cutters, but Jalen Brunson has been a dog. But we got Derrick White and Jrue Holiday, who are very good guarding the perimeter and kind of getting over screens. So I think that they have to make a little bit of adjustment there. But, Bruce, like you said, got guys like Peyton Pritchard, Derrick White, only NBA duo to have 40-plus in the same game, 9+ threes in the same game. without Jayson Tatum against a better defense in Portland within those 2 months. What are we doing? The Boston Celtics are going to go out there. They're going to go in dog. They're going to play like they want to because Jayson Tatum wants them to play hard, and they're going to make this comeback, and they're going to win tonight.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We see the Celtics are 5.5-point favorites. That's a little bit shocking to me, but I know they're going to win this game, so I feel confident in that as well. I love that last sentence you just gave me, that resonation, the power that you kind of conveyed about how we really feel about the Celtics team, how passionate we truly are, because it's really devastating, right? Like we mentioned, to see them go down, see Jayson Tatum kind of fall out, and you see the Celtics fans on Twitter already tweeting, trade this guy, coming up with trade proposals, talking about blasphemy and just being ridiculous just to speak and not even giving this team a chance when they have the opportunity to really punk the Knicks in an opportunity where the Knicks, once again, I was watching Keith Smith, he was talking about this, they were saying, like, this is an opportunity where if you're a Knicks team, you're kind of maybe relaxing a little bit, and the Celtics are a little bit aggressive because they're at home and they want to win for JT, and this is just a game that they can just steal away from New York and really put them on their heels going back to New York and like, oh crap, do we have to win this? We really have to win this game at home and close it out.
Yeah, and I think that's something that puts into the Knicks' mind, you know? If they come out and play hard today and then they start off game 6 kind of coming out the same way, you're like, this is a different type of team that we're playing with. You know, we're kind of getting that Jaylen Brown that we've been looking for a while. You know, he's been a little stagnant, kind of just even road the whole time, and now he's kind of stepping up a little bit because, you know, his role has to be picked up, and, you know, this is a different type of look. But I'm kind of looking on Twitter here trying to find the starting lineup, and I don't know if you guys can see, but Torrey Craig wearing the Jayson.
Yes.
I guess we'll be seeing a lot of that tonight. Maybe Derrick White will be wearing his accessories. Maybe a headband game. I don't know. The vibes in the locker room seem very good. They have that killer mentality tonight. Maybe they're wearing their statement jerseys tonight. Those all blacks. Hopefully they're wearing those, and that'll be the energy that we're looking at tonight. But I mean, man, I'm kind of getting myself a little bit more pumped up for this as I'm thinking about it. I really do want this one.
I really do too, and I feel like there's a like more to basketball for this game for the Celtics, right? Like this is a must. Every game is a must win for this team, but this is like sentimentally for their like as a human being, they want to win this game. They want to do it for their brother. I can see Jaylen Brown and Al Horford post game just everyone talking about how they did it for Jayson Tatum and all that stuff, and that's what's really going to be the sentiment if they can get this done. You know that Garden right at home after seeing them lose both games at home is going to be rowdy and going berserk for this Boston Celtics team. And they're going to be bringing that firepower and really, really getting hyped up. I'm hoping that we do get the lineup announced before we do sign off here, as well. Yeah. Dave's not hot here, man. That's kind of funny. We're going to learn a lot about this team tonight, and I 100% agree, right? And this is kind of going to set up for what the Celtics do for the future, right? Obviously, Tatum is going to be out for next season. We know that they're going to be still in the second apron. They have free agents in Luke Cornett, Al Horford, Torrey Craig, like you just showed on your screen. They have long-term deals with not long-term, but Porziņģis is on a one-year deal. Holiday has 2 more years on his deal, correct? Brown has a long-term deal. Derrick White has a long-term deal. I don't expect them to trade Brown or to trade Derrick White, but maybe some of those other guys on the fringes, maybe a Sam Hauser or something like that. Peyton Pritchard's a very valuable contract, but those are some things we're going to have to look at with this Celtics team. I don't think they're going to completely gut the roster, but maybe make some minor moves or some small tweaks or changes to really get this team to fill in the holes that they don't have at that forward position with Jayson Tatum, because they're paying him, once again, $60 million, and he's not going to be playing. So they have to find another wing or another piece to really complement and play with this Celtics team to really bring them to their best. And I think that's what we'll see the Celtics team kind of lean into, and they'll kind of figure that out tonight as well, like Dave mentioned, with how they play.
I do like that too. Like, we are really going to figure out what this team is all about, because it's been talked about all year that they are that team. They are going to repeat. It's all they are going to. Not they might. Yep. They are going to. Now, what are they going to do without Jayson Tatum is the talking point. That is right in front of our faces. What is Jaylen Brown going to do tonight? Is he going to step up, or is he going to stay in the middle of the road like he's been doing? Is he going to have that 30-point game that we've been looking for? Hopefully. But is Derrick White going to step up like he always has? Probably will. But is Porziņģis actually going to be around and being able to score the ball? That is one of the points that needs to be made tonight, is if he's going to be able to play 25 minutes a game and give you production.
No, I completely agree. I think that's the big question mark for the Celtics. You brought this up earlier when we were talking about Porziņģis, Patrick. And when we analyzed Porziņģis kind of going into this series, we wanted him to be that three-point savant for the Celtics team. Coming off those screens, running around, being this, mobile big around the perimeter, but also being able to work down low in the post and get some swats in. And unfortunately, with his illness, this whole playoffs, he hasn't been able to do that. But really specifically, in this series versus the New York Knicks, correct? He just has not been that difference maker that he was throughout the whole regular season. So I think, like you mentioned, they can't really utilize Porziņģis in that role that we've wanted to see him be very present in. So tonight, I think, like you were saying, keeping him in spots, trying to use him in, bunches maybe, 2 or 3 minutes where he really is that main factor, and then for the rest, he's not really, and just trying to give him that level of production that can at least give the Celtics some value on the offensive end, but not completely tire him out, will be the best thing for the team.
As per NBA.com, they do have the lineups.
Okay.
And it looks like Kristaps would be in the starting lineup.
Okay.
That would be JT's replacement.
Okay.
So that's what it's looking like. As per NBA, it's literally today's starting lineups by NBA.com. So, I'm sure they are ahead of what Twitter has. So that is what we're looking at for tonight. So obviously they trust KP enough to be able to get in that starting lineup and feel like he has that energy in him and stamina. But I think also he knows he has that JT chip on his shoulder.
100%. And I think the whole team knows they have that JT chip on their shoulder, right? Obviously still in the hospital, so they know he's watching from there. He can't be in TD tonight. So they're doing that knowing that their brother is watching them on the TV screen, and they have to do right by him to make sure they get that victory and to do right for the fans and to do right for the city, which is what they did last year, right? Win us a championship, bring that home, and you got to appreciate that as well, right? Can't take that for granted. Celtics winning that championship was fantastic, and I saw his tweets talking about, and this is a little bit off topic, but Celtics fans are going to talk about the 24 ring, the 2008 ring. And it's bro, we haven't even seen the fallout yet. Stop talking. Exactly. You could be tweeting that now, and in 2 years, the Celtics could have 2 more rings.
Right. But now that we're talking about rings, let's talk about tonight. All right. Who's your MVP tonight? What's your prediction? And how do you feel?
All right. So, Patrick, as you know, I'm rocking all green. I'm going with the win tonight. I'm very confident. My MVP for tonight's game is going to be Payton Pritchard. I think Jaylen Brown is going to have a fantastic game tonight. Don't get me wrong. But I think Payton Pritchard alongside Derrick White is going to be that offensive punch that is really going to take the Celtics over the top. And we saw that in Game 3. And Pritch always rises to the occasion, specifically at home when it's needed most. And I'm feeling a big Payton Pritchard game. I'm going to go Celtics win by I want this. The spread is 5.5, but I want to say 6 or 7. So I think I'll go with the spread.
I don't know if you're a betting man, but it's called a trap line, Bruce.
No, I know.
Let's go with the Knicks. It's called a trap line, people. We've seen it many times before, but I'm going with my Boston Celtics, of course. I'm thinking 115 to 107. I'm thinking, an early lead. Kind of getting out again, double-digit lead, kind of falls off, but I think that they're going to stick with it and hold on to the lead. I get what you mean by the MVP as Payton Pritchard, because when you say that, now I feel like I want that Jaylen Brown game to be Game 6 in the Garden, honestly. But I can't help myself but saying Jaylen Brown tonight. I really wanted to step up. This is his guy. He's came up with him all throughout his career, obviously except for his rookie year. This is his boy, and I think there's nothing more than JT would want to see JB go crazy tonight and get the win. And then go back to MSG, and then we could talk about that one later. JB tonight, let's step it up, boy.
I agree.
Let's see what the contract is worth.
100%. And like Joe said, they asked him, I didn't get this tweet up, but I'll say it before we sign off. They said it before the game. Joe, how do you compare this to the series versus Miami? And he says, you didn't get all 3 of those wins in a row. You got them one by one. And that's how the Celtics are going to view this series and view it tonight. 1 game in front of them. Take care of the game. Move on to the next. Take care of that. Move on to the next. And take care of that last one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, we're getting pumped up over here. It's like we're in the huddle. You know what I mean? But let's get it. Celtics, Knicks, big Game 5 tonight. Could potentially be the Celtics season finale. But the Celtics could go out and stun the New York Knicks and send them back going to New York. Once again, I want to say shout out to everyone that came into the stream today. We had a fantastic stream, and these streams have been getting more and more popular, Patrick, with the fans. They've been chatting, they've been hanging out today, so we appreciate everyone for coming in. Exactly. Everyone's believing in here like Dave's not here, man. Go Celtics. Let's go, baby. Ty Dolla, Tommaso Tallis. What? I'm trying to get...
Tommaso Tallis. Come on, boy.
Tommaso Tallis, 6'7", Crampy's in here. T Snizzle's in here.
Oh, come on, man.
Spaceman's in here. Let's see if I got anyone
absolutely.
else.
Hopefully
yes.
JBC is good tonight, man. I mean, he's looked good. He's moving laterally quick. I mean, me and Bruce talk about this so much. He did not look good, man. But after he got those shots, it's like a total different animal, right? Get that little dunk, KG on the baseline for that KG game where he gets all pumped up. Give me that Jaylen Brown that he's booming on somebody. That's the Jaylen Brown I want to see tonight. I'm getting myself really pumped.
We need Jaylen Brown hunting those seals and dunking on everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming in. We had a great stream. Once again, we go live every single Wednesday at this time, 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to join, talk about this Celtics team, even if their season does end, we will have multiple stuff breaking down about the offseason and everything revolving around this Celtics team here on Celtics Digest. So if you enjoy the content, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Bruce and Patrick are signing off, and hopefully we'll see you with a big W following tonight's game. Catch you guys later.